So welcome to our lunchtime webinar on Google Plus and social search. Of course, it's afternoon for those on the East Coast, so sort of coffee time for you guys. And we're sort of exploring today Google Plus as a social media, looking at it from a marketing perspective. Where are the marketing opportunities? Where can we get some traction from this new kid on the social media block? For those who don't know us, what we do is we explain SEO, search engine optimization, social media marketing, and AdWords through online training and consulting. And we're going to give hands-on step-by-step. We're going to look at Google Plus today, and today we're starting our lunchtime coffee series with Google Plus from a marketing perspective. Our classes, if you haven't taken them, I recommend you take a peep over to our website. We've got new classes coming up in February for all those sorts of goodies, so that's your plug there for our classes. I'm your instructor. My name, of course, is Jason McDonald. Happy to take questions. My information is on the screen there. If you're watching this in the video version, please don't hesitate. I really enjoy teaching and exploring, and part of that is cooperative. So if you have a question, I love those questions because that's how I learn. Obligatory legal stuff, and we'll get started. So we're going to make commentary on websites, Google+, social media, the state of the universe, and no way are we negative about any company or their products. Secondly, the webinar is private copyrighted communication. And third, Google+ marketing is an art and not a science. So make any changes to your marketing strategy at your own risk. Okay, so what's our agenda for today's short webinar? So Google Plus, another social network, and I have my little expletive there. I mean, you're kidding me. Another thing that we have to take care of as marketers. So we want to think about it as a marketer. Best bang for the buck. Is it really worth it? We're going to look at some basics of Google Plus from that marketing perspective, and I'm going to try to end on the opportunities that I see to you in Google+. So look at it from a sort of a cold, cynical marketing perspective. Where are the opportunities to promote your company, your cause? So Google+, another expletive deleted social network, just what we needed. So I know that has been a common reaction. I always get a kick out of the fact that the propaganda machine gets started and nobody really talks about the reality that we're all overworked and underpaid, and the last thing we need is another thing that we have to do in our life. But let's be realistic and let's think, are there some opportunities here? Before we break down cry and get into the fetal position, let's think about where there might be some opportunities to help us do our job. So Google+, it's new. It's really new. It's not that old. So I want a little caveat here. I'm not an expert. I'm learning just as much as everybody else is right now. And that's sort of good and bad. So new means that nobody really understands it yet. I don't even think Google understands it because a lot of times what you see with social media platforms is they emerge and new things happen that people didn't anticipate. I have some hunches as to where I think some things are happening with Google Plus that are really interesting that maybe Google isn't exactly aware of. New also means that there are some new opportunities. It's virgin ground. You can be the first person to put your flagpole up there. That's a big deal. And finally, new also means that it might fail. Google's track record in social media is pretty bleak, to be honest. Remember Buzz? Like, that didn't work out, did it? So, be cynical, be realistic. This all might fade away. So that's okay. That might happen. So what are the big pictures about Google Plus as we look at it from a marketing perspective? So get your whiteboard out, get your piece of paper out, get your team out, and start to think before you plunge in and become that rodent on the treadmill, what do you want to do on Google Plus? Why would you be there? What are you trying to get out of it in terms of marketing, generating buzz? So the why question, what are we trying to get? Why are we doing that? The what question, okay, Google Plus is a social network. It's very much like Facebook in some structural elements. So what are we going to say? What are we going to discuss? What are we going to post and share? And finally, who is going to listen to us on Google Plus? Who's out there? Who's coming online? Why are they going to care what we're sharing on Google Plus? All of these big questions that I teach in my classes of social media, they all apply to Google Plus. And the last thing you want to do is be that proverbial rodent there on the treadmill doing it just because. So we kind of are in this industry, in this moment in time of marketing. Everybody thinks, oh, we've got to do all these things. You've got to be cool. And if you don't, be afraid, be very afraid. And I'm a realist. So I want to start this presentation with, let's be realistic and let's look for opportunities and not be afraid to not do it. Okay, so where are the big opportunities? And these are where I see opportunities on Google+. And I think they're a little different than what the mainstream media is portraying. So the first opportunity that I'm going to show you and think about is I think Google Plus is a huge opportunity for you to position yourself as a guru, as a person in the know in your industry. I think that is its biggest sweet spot today, and that makes it quite a bit different than Facebook. I think it is much more guru-centric than Facebook is, and I'll show you some examples. Secondly, a huge opportunity because it's Google is the way that Google, in its Machiavellian, don't be evil, we're a monopoly way, is interweaving Google Plus with social search with SEO. So Google, not surprisingly, is leveraging its monopoly in search to bring us all into Google Plus, and that is a huge opportunity for many companies. Thirdly, converse with customers. This is an opportunity in which Google Plus is a lot like Facebook. This is where I'm most cynical that Google Plus is going to succeed. I'm not sure that this is going to succeed. It's very much like a Facebook wannabe for that, but that's an opportunity. Fourth, if video is important to you, the Hangout feature is very important in Google Plus, and that might have some micro applications for companies that benefit from video. So those are sort of where I start to see opportunities as we go in. Okay, so let's look at the basics. For those of you who have not been paying attention, that would be those of you who have jobs or real life beyond social media or stuff to do like your real marketing. So for those of you who have that stuff on your plate, let's go back and let's look at the basics of Google Plus and try to understand it as a social medium real quickly here. So here's how I think of it. I use lots of analogies when I teach my class, and I was thinking about how to explain this. And really, to be very honest, I think Facebook and Twitter had a baby, and that's Google Plus. Facebook and Google Plus and Twitter, I'm sorry, Facebook and Twitter had a baby, and that's Google Plus. So I think that they sat down at Google and they looked at the features they liked in Facebook and they looked at the features they liked in Twitter, and they kind of synergized those guys. So like Facebook, it's very social, it's very friend-oriented. It has that aspect. Like Twitter, it's very timely, it's very open in a way that Twitter is open, it's very trend-friendly. And I think that's kind of cool. They kind of synergize those two applications, but literally it's like Facebook and Twitter got together and had a baby, and that's how I think is one good way to think about Google+. So let's go over and look at them. Now, you'll get all of these instructor links in the email tomorrow, and I have all sorts of links about ways and places to go to learn about Google Plus as we're all learning together. So don't worry, those are all going to be there. So let's start to look at the basics of Google Plus and start to see sort of how it works. So I'm going to click over to my Google Plus, so I'm there. Now, if you haven't already signed up and you click on this link that I've got for you, plus.google.com, it's going to prompt you to sign up for it. So the first part of signing up for Google Plus is to sign up as an individual and not as a company. So let's walk before run, and I actually think the real opportunities are more at the individual level than at the company level, especially right now. So you're going to sign in, and here's sort of the lay of the land in your account. Let's sort of go and let's look at our home, and let's notice that it is a lot, at this point, it's sort of a lot like Facebook. I'm logging in, and people or organizations that I'm following, I'm seeing their posts in my feed. So it's very much like, well, here's a new one, YouTube just posted something. So it's very much sort of like your news feed in Facebook, or a little bit like your Twitter page, where you follow people, and then as they post, they see what's going on. So sort of the same game here as a company or an individual. You want a lot of people to follow you. That gives you the ability to reach out to them. Let's see what else is out here that's sort of cool. Now, everybody's talked a lot about Google Plus with terms of what are called circles. So as you're following people, you get to put them in circles, and then as you send out a message, as you post something, you can choose who gets to see that message. That has some interesting implications. That whole circle concept is there. Now let's look at our picture. You get to choose a picture. Hopefully you choose a picture that's kind of, weird and provocative. That seems to be the way that people do that. And let's go into our profiles. Let's go up and let's look at our profile here. And the first thing you should do as you set up your profile on Google Plus is think about being a guru in your industry. Think about being somebody who knows something about a topic, and why are people going to follow you? Because you're in the know about something, whether that's cake decorating, whether that's being a private investigator, whether that's somebody like me that follows social media. So you write your tagline, all this kind of stuff. Now let's look on the About tag. Here's where you start to fill out your profile. All of the usual social media things apply. Try to have links over to your website, etc. Now, one of the interesting little tricks here is in your employment. If your first line of employment, you can basically make this like a tagline. That's the first little area where I think Google didn't anticipate something and people figured that out. And why is that important? When you write that in your profile, and somebody is reading something about you. So here's Britney Spears, and I hold my cursor over her name, and she just says Britney Spears. If people hold their cursor over my name, it has a little, hey, circle Jason for crazy, fun, cool stuff on marketing. So you could put a little ad about yourself as people are following you or thinking of following you, and you do that on your profile. So you want to fill out your profile, lots of detail, all that kind of good stuff. Other issues that are important. You can link over to your other profiles. This is why I think it's very guru-centric. You can say, here's my Twitter, my LinkedIn, my Yelp, etc. Here's one thing we'll come back to that's very important. What do you contribute to? And we're going to talk about this in terms of the way it completes actions in search. So by putting that I'm a contributor to the JM Internet Group or my own blog, that's one way that Google's going to realize in search results it should give people my picture and stuff like that. So you want to think about areas that you contribute to and do that. And we'll return to that. And then your recommended links, because you're going to be that guru. That's, I think, the easiest low-hanging fruit there. Then have recommended links that people are going to check out about you. You also have, of course, who you're following and who's following you. So that's all in your profile in the About tab. So you want to fill that out for yourself. Now, photos and videos, pretty straightforward. You put photos and videos there. Videos are new. This is something you can share videos directly on Google+, or you can put them through YouTube. Another hugely important issue is your +1s. Your +1s is where Google shamelessly appropriated the idea of like from Facebook. And by +1ing something, first of all, it shows on your profile tab under +1. So people who are following you are paying attention. This is sort of cool things that I like on the internet. But more importantly, people who are connected to me are going to see my picture and my +1s as they search. This is the way that Google is expanding search to be social, is through the interconnection of the +1 buttons, the +1s on Google Places, and the search results. So you want to fill your profile out, shamelessly +1 your own company. Shamelessly +1 your own company. Areas that you're involved in, like I teach at Stanford Continuing Studies. This is to help people that follow me see those in search results. So those are sort of some of your basic things. I think we claimed we covered everything here. Hashtags we didn't talk about. So within Google+, if somebody has a hashtag, it's just like on Twitter, where if you put the hashtag, people don't do it as much on Google+, but if they write a hashtag in a post, it becomes a clickable link, just like it would on Twitter. So that's another area of opportunity. If you're familiar with Twitter and hashtags, same rules apply there on Plus. So that's sort of a whirlwind tour of the basics. Now, as you're getting started into Google Plus, the first thing you want to do is find interesting people, things to follow, keyword communities that you're following. Now, how do you do that? Within Google, they've done a good job, not surprisingly, as a search engine. Log into your Google Plus account, type in something that you're interested in, organic food, hit enter, go over here to everything. You can find people, pages, Google Plus posts, etc. And let's talk about what these are. So people and pages, I can find, oh, here's Whole Foods. I'm already following them. Maybe I want to follow somebody like, I don't know, Dane Finley, and I like him and he's great and whatever. I can check him out. He's in my industry, yada, yada. I can add to circles, and I choose a circle I want to follow him in. Let's put him in gardening or food. So hold over there. I actually don't like the way they did this. You have to hold your cursor, hit gardening, and now what's happened? I have found him through my keyword of organic food. He's going to get a message, hey Dane, Jason McDonald is now following you. Maybe that spurs him to check me out. So your homework is take the keywords in your industry and start to follow people and companies that are participating in your industry, and you do that through your keyword search. If you're interested in a particular company, you can put in Ford, and you can usually find the company directly, and you can say, okay, I'm going to follow Ford. Ford is actually one of the better companies on Google+, so I can maybe add them to brands. So I'm going to add them to my circle brand. I've now given them an ability to follow, to post to my stream. So your order of business, put your keywords in before you really get involved in Google+. Find out if other people are doing interesting, cool things. Also on Google, okay, on Google, I have it in here, you can do this sort of search, site:+.google.com. So go over to Google, because I always believe you need to start listening first. Site:+.google.com, organic food, and search. And now I can find stuff on Google Plus through the Google search engine. So this site: with no space, which I teach in my classes on social media. So site:+twitter.com, site:+facebook.com, organic food. You can also open that up and say past week, what's been posted on Google Plus. So you can use Google, you can use Google Plus, you can start finding people in your industry. As with all social media, participating, listening in is a very important skill set. So basics on searching. Now let's talk about those profiles. Google Plus, in my humble opinion, as an expert on Google Plus with maybe 3 or 4 months under my belt, if that, my gut instinct is that Google Plus is more like LinkedIn than Facebook in the sense that the individuals are more important than the company. So I think a lot of companies are rushing out there to create company pages on Google+. We may end up, what did I say? Twitter and Facebook had a baby. Well, the cousin or the nephew is LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, the focus is on those individuals. I think you're seeing that in Google Plus as well, where the individuals are talking, the individuals are being listened to, and the individuals have something very interesting on Google Plus. A company cannot follow an individual on Google Plus unless that individual follows the company first. So the companies are kind of crippled, where as an individual, you can go out and start following people, and they're going to get a little notice, hey, that you're following them. So there's one technical advantage to the individual profile. And then I think secondly, we're on Google Plus because we're trying to learn and follow stuff. And Ford as a company, it's just an amorphous nothing. But the people that work there, they're the ones who really know what's going on. So I think the individual profile is where to start today. The company profile, it's coming. Now let's talk about the company profile because I know people do want to do that. Go over to your profile. You can see manage your pages. That's where I am now owner of the JM Internet profile, and all I wrote on our profile is hello world, just what we need, another company on Google+. What are we going to do? So it's similar to Facebook. You as an individual sponsor a company, and that's how you get started. When you're signing up over here on the right-hand side, usually on the screen when you're signing up, it'll say create a company or start a company. So that's how you do that. Right now, I do really believe that most of the action is on you as an individual, but you can create a company page, and I can help people do that if they're interested. So that's how you do that. It's kind of hidden where you manage it. It's over here underneath your picture is where you see your company profiles that you've set up. So just like on Facebook, you sponsor the company page, but unlike on Facebook so far, I think that there's more traction on the individual pages. So it's company pages. Now, I have some examples in the instructor meets of some interesting companies. So let's look at Zagat. I never know how to say that. So these are the restaurant review people, and they actually have a pretty interesting page. So they got 32,000 people. I'm following them under news sites. I don't know why I put them under that category. But they're basically, this is where if you know Facebook, if you follow Facebook, you can see this is a lot like what people do on Facebook. And this, to me, is a little bit of a yawn. This is a lot like Facebook. Why should I follow Zagat on Google Plus when I could follow them on Facebook? I'm not really sure. But there are some companies that are, doing Google Plus in that way, and you want to find them. You can also just go to your search box, type in a company that you know will probably be active, Whole Foods. You can check out Whole Foods. You can see what they're doing on their social media on there. So that's your company pages. All the usual rules apply. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that. Okay, so now let's look at opportunities and start to think of where the opportunities are. And obviously I just blazed through some of the technical stuff, but poke around with it. I think you're all bright people. If you have questions, ask me. Let's talk about this guru opportunity and why I think this is such a big opportunity if you're an architect. Talked with a woman who's a cake decorator yesterday. Private investigators, people that are sort of in the know, I think can get other people to follow them, and this is a big opportunity. You need to do this through what's called the Rich Snippets or Author Tool. It's part of the schema.org framework. It's enough geek speak to drive you crazy, but they do have some links that help you understand that, and we want to show how that works. So let's look at how does this work in terms of a guru opportunity. Okay, so I am signed in to my Google account, right? I'm just Jason doing my thing. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to look at some searches here. Did I build them out? I'll have to type them in. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to type them in and look at them. I have some examples from Google and some of my own. So here's an example. Let's say I'm a scientist and I say, hey, I'm looking for chlorine-based life. And I do this search. And notice how this guy has a picture here. Okay, let's look at that picture and think like a marketer. So I've done a search. This guy's gotten to the top of that SEO page. He's got a picture which really makes him stand out. And let's think like a Google detective. Look at that. He's in 214,000 Google Plus circles. So because Carl Zimmer has a lot of people in his circles, and he's written a blog on arsenic life and chlorine life, a search on chlorine-based life, Google is rewarding him with his picture with that top position, and people are then going to go over to his blog page. So they can check out his blog as soon as that loads and read his blog page. It's like, Carl, you've got to get a faster blog here. They can read his blog page, blah, blah, blah. There's his picture. Now, notice over here, though, look, more by Carl Zimmer. You can click there, and here's his plus page at the top, and you're seeing are the articles that he is writing. So think like a marketer. If you're a CEO of, I don't know, Geico Insurance, and you become the go-to person about insurance, or Susie Orman, I heard she's just coming out with a debit card, and people are searching for debit cards and finance and stuff like that. People see that. They click on your icon there. Oh, Carl, you're so interesting. I'm going to follow you. So there's a guru-based search that's going on with respect to people who have a lot of followers and they've done their homework, and they've done what's called the author snippet. So let's just talk about that author snippet there. So Google Help article, I have the Help authorship article for you. This is a bunch of nerd speak about how to connect your Google Plus profile to your blog posts and things like that. And I think everybody needs to do their homework of interconnecting those right now. And I've got that in there. That would take a lot more time than we have to explain how this linking is there. But they did a pretty good job now of explaining how to do this. Now, once you've done it, okay, let's go over and let's look at an article, a little answer. Okay, so I've written an article, not an article, it's a question, because I'm always answering questions, because I'm crazy enough to tell people to send me questions. So somebody asked me a question, are multiple websites good for SEO? Now notice here, my name, my email. If you click on my name, you go to my About profile. My About profile takes me to my Google Plus page. Those linkages are being followed by Google. Now, take that URL, pop that URL in what's called the Rich Snippet Testing Tool, a name only a mother could love. Paste that in, and you can verify that you've set that up correctly. So I have set that up correctly. Now, I don't have enough followers yet on Google Plus for it to start showing my pictures on search results. But as I build followers, and I hope, please pray that all of you come follow me on Google Plus, the more people who follow me on Google Plus, I'll reach that tipping point, and then as people search, my little name and my little photo are going to be there, and that will help position me as a guru. And that goes for lots of different searches, not just SEO. Here's another one. Let's look at this one. Tips to abandon shopping cart abandonment. And see these pictures here? These people are getting, they're doing what I'm telling you. They're linking their Google Plus profiles to their blogs, to their authors, and they're getting those pictures on those search results. So that's the first implication of Google Plus is entering, the guru kingdom with a lot of followers, and then you get those in. You can also see here, Danny Sullivan, right? He didn't write this article necessarily, but he plus one'd it. So by the fact that he plus one'd it, it shows up on searches because I'm connected to Danny Sullivan. Now let's talk about the connection feature. Okay, so to do that, let's go over here. And I've got I'm signed into Noelle's account. Please don't tell her. I'm signed into Noelle's account over here. And so I can do a search. Noelle and I are friends, so to speak. So we're connected. She's connected to my Google Plus. I actually did this yesterday without telling her. And she said, you connected us on Google Plus? I said, yes, I did. So at any rate, so we're connected. Now I do a search for SEO training, and this is as if I'm Noelle, right? And she and I are connected through Google Plus. Now what's going on here? Here is the search term. Here is my recommendation, my plus one, right? I've shared this, I've plus one this, and it shows up as position 3 on her search results. Now, that's not technically on position 3. We're actually, I think, on position 12 for this search. But because she and I are connected, Google Plus is rewarding that. She sees that her friend, Jason McDonald, so to speak, has recommended this. Now, this guy here, he's got, 12,000 circles. He shows up on all of them, any search, whether you're connected or not. What is the implication number 2 here? If you as a guru for your company and you grow a universe of 5,000 people, 400 people who are all looking at cake decorating or all looking at northern New Jersey or whatever sort of topics you're connected to, as they're connected to you and they do searches and you've done your homework and you've plus one websites, you've shamelessly plus one your own website, of course, then you're pushing those results up to the top of search. So the second implication for Google Plus is grow your audience plus one shamelessly your own websites, your own posts, and then you will have an inside track for your followers, your connected people to follow you. So social search is your second opportunity, and it's related to Guru, is use the rich snippets syntax, do all your keywords, Google Plus things on your Google Plus account, +1 on the websites, and then you'll see that. I'm connected to Scott Ayers. He's in my instructor links. He's done a great job with his Google Plus. You can check him out. He's a lot of fun. And I'm connected to him, so as I do certain searches, I see what he has recommended out there. So he's doing that good job of getting his name out there. So if I Google how to turn off Facebook, I see his post because he shared it. He +1'd it. Third opportunity, and this is all interconnected, is adding the +1 to your website page. And what are we talking about there? Let's go over here to our website. So on your homework list, it's holidays are over, people, time to get back to work. Add that +1 button to your website. Now, what does that mean? When somebody +1s this website, they have sort of given it their blessing. They've liked it, so to speak. And then when their friends search and that search matches, they're going to see it. So what's your homework? Get the +1 button at least on your home page, if not on every page of your website, because the more people that +1 you, the more replications you get out there. Now, how do you get that +1 button? I have the link here in the instructor links, which you'll get tomorrow. Very simple code. How do you add that +1 button? What's really very cool about Google+, it's all sort of coming together where they're going with the +1 button, with Google+, with social search. I think it's a very exciting time to be a Google watcher and to experience and see this. This is really a renaissance that they're occurring, and that +1 is very important. If you do that +1, that's when your friends see this relationship. So you're trying to encourage it. So that's your third opportunity, is the +1 and how that works. Fourth opportunity, this is really more your traditional sort of Facebook sort of thing, where you have a conversation on your either personal or corporate page and people follow you. I think this one has been over-reported in the mainstream media, because the mainstream media, they tend to be, shall we say, a little slow, and they tend to just regurgitate what they're told. So a lot of press on this. All that is basically you have a Facebook page. So let's go. So here's how we would do it. We have our corporate page. We have our Facebook page where we're sharing interesting, fun stuff, and I like to share free videos and cool stuff on there. Know Your Memes. This is a fantastic video, by the way. So that's our Facebook page. Now, most companies would then also have a Google Plus page. I've linked our Google Plus page to me personally and not the corporate page, because I'm sort of betting my marbles on that. But you could have a Google Plus page that is, let's go back and look at our instructor links here. So for instance, here's Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're one of my favorite bands, and they're coming back. So they have really emphasized their Google Plus. This is a more traditional use of it, as if it were a Facebook page. The cool thing, I think, for groups is the Hangout video feature. So that's out there. I don't think that's the low-hanging fruit. Okay, so Google Plus, what's sort of our minimum that we want to know about Google Plus, the minimum things that we need to do? So first of all, I think the minimum is to pay attention to Google Plus and emerging search trends. So go and do your searches. So let's pretend we're Noel here again. And I want you to start, do your searches, whatever industry you're in, SEO training. And I want you to go, how did Aaron get his picture there? How do I get his picture there? How does that work? That's your author profiles, rich snippets. And then I want you to go, Jason McDonald, I'm connected to him. Why am I seeing his picture? And then let's sign out. And let's do that same search again. And notice how Aaron's still there, but Jason's disappeared. That's because Aaron is at the guru level, and I'm not at that guru level. So I want you to start paying attention to searches, especially it's starting out in the more techie community, Facebook timeline, and you're starting to see this kind of thing. And when you sign in, you're starting to see other searches. So like I'm signed in, and if I do a search for, let's try Facebook timeline or something, I'm going to see more of those than the average person. So here's Scott Ayers. See, he +1'd it, so I'm starting to see that. So start to pay attention to how Google Plus, the +1 button, social search is changing the way search results look, and then put on your thinking cap and realize, what is our homework as a company? We need to add the +1 button to our website. We need to get some of our smart people to have Google Plus pages and build their communities so they can start +1ing and those friends can start +1ing. And that's how we're going to get our ecosystem to pay more attention to us. So pay attention to it and start to look for your opportunities. So install the +1 button on your website. I have that link for you. Set up that personal Google Plus page, and I think acting as a guru, start talking about trends in your industry. I think it's wonderful that there's Google Plus and Facebook, because it allows us to do what? Your Facebook page is your personal stuff, all your personal friends, and now you can use your Google Plus page as more of your professional area. Again, go back to that sort of quip, Facebook and Twitter had a baby, LinkedIn is the nephew. LinkedIn is our profile where we're very corporate, we're more on our best behavior, so you can use Google Plus as a little bit more your business sort of connections. Reserve your Facebook personal for your personal. So it's actually kind of cool, I think, out there. Set up that author snippet, check it with rich snippets, and start to get the infrastructure ready, because I think over time Google's going to lower that threshold. So right now you maybe need 5,000 friends, 5,000 connections for your picture to show. My guess is over time Google's going to start lowering that threshold. Be ready for that so that you start to see those showing up. So that's a absolute whirlwind tour of Google Plus. When you get your instructor links tomorrow with the video, go in and check those out. Obviously, please follow me. I'm really paying a lot of attention to this now. I've got all the stuff here about gurus and authorship, how to get the +1 button. I've got some examples of some people like Scott Ayers who are really fun to watch in a personal level, Guy Kawasaki personal level. This Olga person is a Googler. And then I've got some companies. And then I have all sorts of resources for you where you can start learning. But again, go back to that big picture. Why are we on Google Plus? What are we trying to accomplish? And who is going to follow us? And that's where when I sat and thought about it, that's where I started to see the guru opportunity as the big opportunity for Google Plus. That's in my perspective. So we have a little time here for Q&A and discussions. I just want to have the heads up. We're going to be starting our classes again in February for those who haven't had the chance to take our trainings.
I tried setting up a business Google Plus page using company name as first and last name. That did not pass Google's name policy, so I'm suspended by Google before getting started. Have you run into this issue before?
Okay, so what happened here was a little history. Before they allowed companies to have pages, people tried to sneak in and create a page, which technically no. It's very much like Facebook. The individuals have pages on Google Plus, and then you sponsor a corporate page. So the corporate page doesn't just exist by itself. Somebody has to sponsor that. And how you do that is, again, first sign up for Google Plus. So let's look at how this process works. So I'm not signed in for Google Plus, right? So let's go to our website. Let's click on the Google Plus icon. So now I'm here, and notice that saying join Google Plus. So the first thing you'd need to do, and this is, I kind of recommend to drink the Google Kool-Aid, get a Gmail account at least to manage your Google services. It makes it easier. So I would sign up for a Gmail account. Then you click Join Google Plus, and it's going to ask you, if you don't have a Google account, to create one, and that's where you're going to set up your personal account. Then once you've created your personal account, okay, so now I've created my personal account, then I need to create a new page. Okay, so I'm logged in, and see over here on the right-hand side, create a Google Plus page. That's where you click here, and then I as a person am sponsoring a business, product, brand, etc. So the way that that person did it, they kind of jumped the gun and they essentially tried to cram a business into a personal page, which they don't allow you to do. You have to have your personal page set up first, and then you sponsor a corporate page. It's exactly the same structure that Facebook uses for its the control of the pages.
Do the people in the circles know what circle they are in?
No, they don't. So that's a good question. You don't. Circles are only shown to you in there. So when you're in a circle, it's like I have a circle called SEOers. And I mean, you could have a circle called anything you wanted. You could call these rabbits, guitars, whatever. And the people that you're following, when you sort them, they don't know what circle. And the reverse is true. If I want to make just a post to my acquaintances, people in that, I can just put a post to my acquaintances. Now, why is that interesting? As an SEOer, right, I have people that I'm following and following me. So these are people, that are maybe following me, and I might want to just talk back to people that are following me. So I have a circle called following. These are people who are following me, and then maybe I want to just talk to that group of people so I can write a post and we're in a relationship and they follow. But they don't know that the circle that I put them in is called following. So no, that's not visible. Also, from your company page, you can create circles and you can communicate with people differently. So you can kind of sort that. I don't know all the details about that, but the basic concept is you can sort people and talk to people differently. So a company might have a B2B circle, business to business, and it might have a business to consumer circle, and you would then be able to message differently to those two circles.
Can you please clarify plus ones? It's not clear. What is the purpose?
Okay, so let's talk about plus ones because it's absolutely important to understand how plus ones work. Okay, so let me close out some of this stuff here. So there's a couple things that you can do. Okay, let's understand plus ones. Okay, so within my profile, so I'm logged into my profile, go to my profile, click on plus ones, okay, and here's the things that I've plus one. So it's connecting what I have plus one to my profile. So one way that these are basically websites that I'm recommending to other people. You've got to think of your plus one as a recommend issue. Okay, so what does that mean? Here's our corporate page. Click there and it says I plus one'd it. So I have recommended our corporate page. Okay, so I went to our website. I clicked on the plus one icon. That then shows on my profile. That's one location where it shows. Secondly, okay, when somebody does a search, so let's sign in as Noelle. Okay, so she's now signed into her account, okay, and let's just go to a Google search. So she does a Google search, say, for SEO training. She sees that I've plus one'd it. So the plus one button is how my friends are being told I'm recommending this website. So what's your homework? Get the plus one button, put that on your website so your customers, your fans, people who are on Google Plus can plus one it. Secondly, as a guru in your industry, shamelessly plus one your own company so that you can help your company get to the top of searches. As you're searching the web, you can also go to a website. So I can go to the LA Times blogs. Let me find the right, I think it's blogs.latimes. So within a website like the LA Times, let's see if they have it. They will often enable the plus one button. It might just be on the blogs here. Here we go. So I can plus one this. Okay, so if I now plus one this, I have now plus one it, and I can say here, I'll just put teaching class on Google Plus, So using this article as an example of how to +1. So the LA Times enabled the +1 feature. Okay, I'm now going to +1 it. I think hopefully it lost my thing. Teaching class on Google Plus, and I am +1ing this article. And then I can hit share. So now I've not only +1'd it, I've shared it on my profile. So if I go to my profile, I can see I've shared it. So it's very much like the Facebook like feature, but it's got this extra impact. If somebody searches for Mitt Romney, and I don't even know what this is about, Mitt Romney could lose New Hampshire even if he wins, blah, 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 I've enabled it. So your to-dos on your +1 are to get the +1, put it on your website at the appropriate point of your blog, your website, all your pages. You shamelessly +1 it as the guru, and then you try to incentivize and encourage your customers to +1 it, and that's building the buzz of social search. That's where this is all going. That's what that +1 is. And I have the link for the code. You'll get that in the instructor links tomorrow. I have the code. It's very simple code that you add on your website. It's 2 lines of JavaScript code that you're going to add, and that's going to enable that +1 feature on the website. You can also, just sort of another weird little heads up, you can actually do a Google search, and you can do a search for something, and you can actually +1 a search result. So I can actually go over here and +1 a search result if I want. So you can do it through search, you can do it through the website. Search results kind of weird. I think it's more the website that you really want to try to get for. So that's the concept of the +1 button, the relationship to the Google Plus profile, and how that's impacting social search. And that's what's really the most exciting opportunity, I think, by Google Plus.
So what is the difference between posting a link and inserting a hashtag? Is the hashtag like an anchor text?
The hashtag, when you write a post, okay, a hashtag in a Google Plus post. So let's do another hashtag. Let's find a hashtag. So let's do a hashtag for here we go, for photography, whatever this one is, leaf, buggy fried, occupy, grass. I don't want to do occupy, that'll kill me. Let's do leaf on Thursday. So if I click on that, so these are leaf on Thursday. So people are talking about whatever this is, little weird pictures of leaves. And because they're putting that hashtag in their posts, that's clickable. So here's a hashtag nature photography. You can click, and this is where it's very much like Twitter. That's my quip. Twitter and Facebook had a baby. So Twitter has the hashtag, so does Google+. So you can use it to promote yourself by finding conversations that people are talking about using the hashtag, and then they read the hashtag, and then they go, and they're like, oh, here's all the people talking about Billy's travel, and then they can find you. So that's what the hashtag is. It's exactly the same as the hashtag function in Twitter. Same idea.
Can you reiterate how we can create a company page in Google Plus like Facebook?
Yes. Okay. So the company page is, first of all, you've got to log into your personal account. So you've got to create a personal Google Plus page. And then on the right-hand side, it'll say create a Google Plus page. So I have my personal page. I can click create a Google Plus page, and here's where I would create a page for my business, my product, my brand. Once you've created it, then it's going to show up under your picture. You can use that little pull down. You can either check it out, and now I'm logged in as the JM Internet Group, and I can write a post. I think I have like 1 follower, and I can write, hello, follower. I am so glad we have 1 follower. Okay, and then I can share that. So now I've shared that with like the 1 person who's following the public page. So that's how you do it. So again, from your, and then to switch back to you. So you can have as many pages as you want, but you have to personally create your own account first, and then you sponsor the pages for the company. And then within the page, just like on Facebook, you can manage it. You set up your icons. You have administrators. They don't call them administrators because that would have revealed that they looked at Facebook, so they called them managers. you can click on managers and you can see I added Noelle as a manager. So you want to have more than one manager rather than, I always think it's funny how they shamelessly do things like that. It's like, really, why don't you just use the same term as Facebook? So that's that.
Can we have multiple Google signups and therefore multiple Google Plus profiles? You know, like Google lets us set
Right.
up multiple emails and Facebook doesn't allow this multiple signup.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm not sure of the answer. I do know that there has been a lot of brouhaha about the whole issue of authenticity. So I do believe that the official Google policy is one person is supposed to have one Google Plus account, but you're right, you can have, like I have, like, I don't know, 17 Gmail accounts over time that I've had to set up for various purposes. So I think technically, yes, it's a violation of terms of service, but the cat's a little out of the bag on that one, isn't it? Because it's very Gmail centric. But I think technically the official policy is like Facebook. You're supposed to use your real identity to control your personal account on Google+.
So there is a lot of buzz about the need to claim your company space on Google+. So what's your take on that?
Like I kind of have indicated, I personally think, I mean, I certainly don't think you're too late, and I don't feel that that's where the immediate traction is in the guru, authorship, individual space. So unless you're Ford Motor Company or the Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, I'm not sure that that's how it's going to take off. And I also feel that if your vision of using Google Plus is sort of, I'm going to do the same things I do on Facebook, uh, until such point as your audience migrates to Google Plus, then I'm not sure your return on investment is going to be that great. I think for most individuals, if I had to guess, I do not think that Google Plus will succeed in that area versus Facebook. So I think Facebook's going to retain its dominance there. You know, that said, you might as well go and set up a company page on Google Plus. It's not going to hurt you. But right now, there's just the follower community on Google Plus. A lot of people have, oh, I got to do it. They've set it up, and that's it. It doesn't have quite the traction yet. But the connection to search is huge because people use search a lot. So I'm being a little cynical here. I'm looking for where there's a lot of immediate traction from Google Plus, and it's that intersection with search where there's immediate. So, you know, do what you want. I don't think it's like freak out. You got to do it tomorrow on the company pages. I'm not going to set up a company page for us in any serious way yet. I don't see the point. I don't see the traction there.
Can you +1 content that you see even if you do not have a Google +1 account? Also, is there a way to see who has +1'd you?
Okay, so there's a bunch of questions in there. So no, the first question, to +1 something, I as an individual have to have a Google account and I have to be signed in as I'm searching the web and looking around. So that's the same as Facebook. If you go to the LA Times website, and if you're on latimes.com and you want to like an article like this, I don't know, let's choose this Romney one, and I want to like that down here, it's going to, and you recommend like is the same thing on Facebook, it's going to ask me to sign in. So you have to sign in. You can't do it without being signed in. What was the second question, Gloria?
Also, is there a way to see who has +1?
Oh, right. Okay, I'm not sure on that. I would assume that they'll give you some metrics on that. I do not know the answer to that if they share that. They may not share that. I don't know. That's a great question that I do not know the answer for.
Do you know any demographics of the users of Facebook versus users of Google+?
I don't know if there's been any public studies. So I think Facebook, the demographic is everyone on the planet over the age of 13. So that's the demographic of Facebook. And maybe there's 4 people left who don't have a Facebook page. So that's pretty much universal. I mean, tongue-in-cheek, Facebook is, you know, sort of the younger crowd and whatnot, but it's 750 million people. It's every demographic is on Facebook. Google Plus, I don't think they've released a lot of demographic. My hunch is the techno nerds like myself are heavily on it first. That's where I'm seeing a lot of these author snippets show up. And then I also think lots of people have signed up for it, and then they're waiting. They're sort of waiting to see if it's actually going to amount to much. So I still think, it's way behind Facebook in terms of that. Even though publicly they're saying they have, 75 million signups last month, this type of thing. I think my gut is a lot of those are passive. We don't really know. I haven't seen any third-party verification of what's going on. We're still in the hype stage. And Google as a propaganda machine is going to hype it.
Is there a way to link with existing Twitter followers to my Google Plus account?
No, they're not on the same team. So the Twitter and Facebook and Google Plus, they're decking it out, and there aren't any ways to import my followers other than to go on your Twitter account and say, hey, follow me on Google Plus, which sort of is a good way to conclude our session. That gets us back to thinking about, in our social media strategy, where are those sweet spots? And you think about those sort of real quickly. The sweet spot of Twitter is like coupons and news and really timely short posts of information. And the sweet spot of Facebook is building community around fun stuff that you and your company is doing. And I am advocating and arguing that the sweet spot of Google Plus is social search, is improving search results by getting people to +1 pages, and ideally people who also have a big following on Google Plus. I think they all have different sweet spots, and you need to look for those sweet spots and find them, and they're not the same sweet spots. So that's sort of where it's going. Now this is all, me predicting the future, so maybe in, a little bit of time it'll be completely different. I don't know, but that's where we are today. So we're going to be out of our session time. We try to keep these short. I know everybody's super, super, super busy right now, so I really want to appreciate and thank every one of you for showing up. Please +1 me, or go and follow me on Google Plus. I'm going to try to keep up to speed with that. That'll be a good thing for you to do. We'll send out an email tomorrow with the links for all of the materials, and you'll be able to go out there and invent your own Google Plus strategy and keep us posted. So thank you so much for attending. Gloria will wrap us up with housekeeping information.
Okay, well, definitely +1 you. We are out of time, and I'd like to thank everyone who attended today's lunch coffee webinar. Any questions that were unanswered, Jason will get to you by email. Our paid training series on SEO, social media, and Google AdWords begins February 15th. And our next free lunch coffee webinar will be on February 1st. It's going to be at 12 p.m. Pacific time and 3 p.m. Eastern. And we will be talking on Google Gotchas, 10 Things Google Does Not Want You to Know. We will be offering a webinar on our introductory session on the top 10 tools for SEO, January 23rd. And there is still time to get registered, so you can join us on that. You can find out more information and sign up on any of these classes by going to our website at thejm-seo.org and then clicking on the class schedule link on the left-hand side. As always, if you have any questions, please give us a call. And everyone have a great rest of your day, and we'd like to thank Jason for a wonderful presentation.